bralette pieces are together, the next step is to attach fold over elastic. First, let's take a peek at fold over elastic. It can come in many widths. The width that I'm using for the sew along is 3/8 of an inch when folded. It usually has an indentation down the center. Sometimes fold over elastic is completely matte. Most fold over elastic that I have seen has a shiny side and a matte side. On page 100 of the book, there is a whole section on fold over elastic. If you can sew it in one pass, most common widths, so definitely check that out. So with the bra wrong side face up, you are going to lay the fold over elastic down so that the matte side is on the wrong side. And the indentation is aligned with the edge of the fabric. I'm gonna show this to you as I'm sewing it, but I did wanna show it to you in an overhead view. So that indentation right there is aligned with the edge of the fabric. You're gonna use a zigzag stitch, 1/4 of an inch. Now, a common question that I get is, oh, what settings are you using? It will vary from machine to machine. I wish the sewing gods would have conspired to create some sort of consistency in zigzag stitch width and length, but they didn't. So you will just have to test it out. But you want those zigzag stitches to be as close to the edge as possible. The reason being is that if you sew your zigzag stitches down the center of the fold over elastic, you'll create like a little lip. Now I'm showing it on the right side, but it would be the same on the wrong side. Another thing that I wanted to note, and this is very common, is that at the strap points, you want the fold over elastics to be parallel. You don't want them to be coming to a point because you're eventually going to wrap that around a ring. So you want them to be parallel so that will loop through the ring and fold over really nicely. One other question that I get is that how much tension to apply to elastic when sewing. As you can see here, it's not perfectly flat, but it definitely does lay really nice and flat, the fold over elastic. There is a section in the book for a tip for new bra makers to give it the right amount of tension, an even amount of tension. That's the word that I was looking for. To give it an even amount of tension so you don't have one that's like super scrunched up and then just laying flat. The act of sewing elastic stretches it out. So you want to apply a little bit of tension to it to compensate for that. Sewn the first pass of fold over elastic along the neckline as well as the back band and armhole. Now, if yours looks like this, maybe your elastic is a little bit more wavy, don't panic. I'm not gonna show this on camera, but I'm gonna add a little bit of steam and I'm gonna press this down with my iron on a synthetic setting. If your elastic is a little wavy, steam is your friend. Ta-da! Look how nice that looks. Gave it a little bit of steam, pressed it down with my iron, and the elastic looks so nice. Chef's kiss. So if your elastic is a little wavy after your first pass, don't panic, add a little bit of steam. Okay, so the next step is that we are going to sew the second pass, and this is where your duck-billed scissors come in. Now, if you have any portion of the fabric, see how this is extending past the indentation? I'm just going to snip that back. Now, technically, I could fold it over and it would still be in case, but this helps when you are folding your elastic over for the second pass, that it's just not bulky. So in any spots where it is extending past the indentation, you can just clip it. and then you will fold the elastic to the right side, just like that, and sew another line of zigzag stitches. Question that I always get is that if I apply tension to the first pass, do I apply it to the second pass? Yes, you want to apply the same amount of tension on the first pass as well as the second pass. One other thing is that at the strap points, I left a little bit of a tail here of elastic. It helps so that I have something to pull when I start sewing the elastic, as well as when I'm attaching the rings, just something to like hang on to rather than having like a little stub trying to wrap that around the ring. And second pass of the fold over elastic, done. Next step is to attach the bottom band elastic to the bralette. If you have a serger, you will want to serge the bottom edge of the bralette. You don't have to though. I'm not going to for the sew along. So you will sew this with a straight stitch, back stitch at the beginning and the end, and then at the bottom, you will add a little straight stitch to hold the seam allowances down. Band is attached to the bralette. Last step is to make and assemble the shoulder straps and attach them to the bralette. Alright, so I did one side because I think it's easier to understand this step if you see the after. So the first step is that you are going to wrap the ring around the strap point and fold it back. And I like to have it so that the fold over elastics are wrapped over each other or right next to each other. And you're gonna pin that, and you are gonna sew it back and forth with a straight stitch 3 to 4 times. Then you are going to, here is the finished slider, and making and attaching straps, it's one of the things that you have to do it over and over. It's just repetition. It's a lot of little tiny steps that even after sewing 10, 20 bras, some of my students are like, can you demo that again? I can't remember all the steps. So just repetition in order to remember this step. So you take the slider. You are going to loop it up and over that center bar and back again so that it's about half of an inch approximately. That is a yes. What is a no, and that a lot of people do, is that they wrap it around one of the end sliders. That's a no. This is a yes. Then you are going to sew a straight stitch as close to the hardware as possible. You will have to move your needle position so that you can get close to the slider. What you don't want is you don't want to stitch it like all the way down here, because then as you adjust the straps, the slider will move and it'll just be very hard to adjust your shoulder straps. So once you have this sewn, and once you have it sewn, you're gonna clip the elastic so that's right next to that stitching. With the bra wrong side face up, you are going to feed the elastic through the ring and up and over that center bar and down again. Put it this way, the first step and the second step are the same. So for both the first step, up and over that center bar, for the second step, up and over that center bar. Now the standard width from ring to slider is about an inch and a quarter, inch and a half, somewhere around there. You can try on your bra and pin it in place. That way, even though there's a pattern piece for the strap elastic, you might have a long torso, you might have a short torso. So I recommend just trying on the bralettes and pinning it however long you want it and where you want it away from center back. Then you will do a straight stitch back and forth to secure it in place. You can just do one stitch, or if you want to, you can also have the elastic extend to the bottom of the bralette for more stability. This is recommended for people with larger bust sizes because then all of the weight isn't at one point, it's distributed throughout the back bands. Brooklyn Bralette is finished. If this is your first bra project, first lingerie project, give yourself a pat on the back, maybe do a happy dance around your sewing machine because you are done. Just want to give you a little overview of what it should look like at the ends. Okay, I just want to take a moment here to just this fabric. Love this fabric. I mean, the Brooklyn Bralette will look good in any fabric, but especially this one. So thank you again for tuning in. Please share your Brooklyn Bralettes on Instagram. Use the hashtag Brooklyn Bralette and tag @mmadeline.